Hi, I'm Echoes, and I'm a VTuber, and I'll be reacting to Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, Episode 3, which is titled Traveling Down the Orbital Tree. So, as you can see from the title, pretty much the main point is the two main characters, Kaina and Ririha, traveling down the orbital tree in order to bring Ririha back to her kingdom, which is at the base of the orbital tree. Since in previous episodes, they were at the top, and now they have to go to the bottom. So, because of a lot of its focus on their travels, we don't really get too much extra details, but we do get a bit of world building. So the beginning segment is mostly just showing how they travel down, especially since they use such long ropes and they have to use the remnants of the ancient technology that are incredibly strong types of metal, and also enough to laser into the actual tree itself in order to create points where they could drop the rope from. So yeah, it's sort of like the mountain climbing, but climbing down a tree instead of a mountain, if that makes sense. So it also shows their different physical capabilities, with Ririha not being as fit as Kaina is, as Kaina is more used to doing more physical activities overall. So that makes sense. And then there's a bit of world building here where they talk about how a lot of, pretty much a lot of the bugs are down there and they have to pass. They have to figure out a way to pass through the bug eggs. And kind of taking, estimating about 3 days, I guess. Because he could, 30 days? So yeah, it'll take some time to go down. So because of all the bugs and stuff. And then we get a little shot of Ririha's countrymen. These are actually the members of her kingdom's cavalry. So they're trying to find Ririha, as she was, attacked in the first episode by the enemy from Valgia. Like, they always have this dark metal armor. And then also we get this, what's also important here is that we get this orbital tree that is pretty much falling down. It's in a way showing the decline of their planet, because with the orbital trees dying, their civilization relies on the orbital trees in order to get water. Without them, they get no water, as the snow sea is like an ocean, and for whatever reason, they cannot obtain water from the ocean itself, because it's a lot of work in order to remove all the salt and just get the water. So maybe that's why, but for whatever reason, they can't get water from the actual snow sea. And here's the example of the laser cutter, which they use to get the outcrop of the rocks, of the tree, sorry, in order to pull the ropes down. And then he also notices that even the top of their tree that they're climbing down is also dying because of all the dead branches and stuff. So he's kind of is really worried that his village is in trouble because of it, but it's not like they can do anything right now. And Riha tries to comfort him, as they have to focus on their goal, and it's to make sure that she gets down safely. And she wants to go back home. And then what I like here is that you have this dynamic between this woman and this guy. I'm not really sure who. I know they're both from Valgia, with the red hair one probably being some sort of high-ranking member. Not sure if she's also a princess, but she reminds me a lot of Kushana from Nausicaa, and then her subordinate from Nausicaa as well. Because also with them having the heavy armor, and also her countrymen having this black armor, very much reminds me of the I don't know if they're called the Tomikians or not. Maybe that's the wrong one. I don't remember. And then these two are discussing about the sage, which is the whole reason why the princess was trying to get up on the tree. Because they think it's just a myth, right? And she said, oh, it's probably possible. And then they got to keep an eye on the tree itself. Oh yeah, and also one important point here is that during while they're taking a break, Riha gives Kaina something called a snowfoil bag. It seems to be they explain here is that without this you'll sink. So it's pretty much like a not like a floaty. It's like a like sort of like something that people grab on so they don't sink into the water. It's like an inflatable buoy kind of thing. Incredibly important for a bit later in the episode. And and here we get a little more role where like she was asking like, is it okay that you're coming with me? And then he says that he was always watching from his window up there that, oh, maybe there are people on the ground because the lights were moving. And because he always wanted to go down but didn't have a method before to do it so. And yeah, just it's more about just the main characters sort of just learning more about each other. Dad went to get some giant tree eggs. I see. So yeah, both his parents were killed shortly after he was born, because it also shows the decline of the planet itself, where they're all trying to fight for their own survival. And then she talks about her father, who is a king of the country. And she also remembers her mother, who was very warm to her, who often told her stories. And the most important part here is the sage part, where the story was, as the world was born, the wise sage descended. Where his staff pierced the land, the water did flow. But to war with each other did the tree people go. The sage fled to the forest in sorrowed sequestration. From then on, the snow sea would engulf all creation. So in a way, it's one of their founding myths. So yeah, so pretty much he was known for bringing water, and the orbital trees are what people rely on for the water. But for whatever reason, the snow sea is encompassing the entire world as a form of maybe the sage's wrath. And she believed that the forest was the canopy. Yeah, but no one has the power to bring out the water, as mentioned in the myth itself. Oh yeah, this part's also important. And he was like, why did you think the forest was in the canopy? And then she mentioned something called light, which is the thing that they saw before. Is that little green floating mushroom thingamajig. Good, we have a name for it. It's called light, because it's glowing. And it sort of seems to be guiding Ririha around, because it always appears when she needs help or she's in trouble. So hard to say if it's like a helpful spirit or something like that. It could be. So how she learned about it was that the father went on expedition because she was feeling sad after mother died. And then she meets the light spirit. And then it was rising up the tree. And then she saw that the top of the tree had all these glowing lights that normally you wouldn't see because of the cloud cover. So it gave her an opportunity to realize that there was also life up there. When light showed me the brightness of the canopy, and it applied the sage's force, which I think is a reasonable conclusion. And also talk about light, but yeah, and she's the first person he told because they both saw it together. Saw it when he came to Campy. So yeah, so I wonder what it is. Some sort of guiding spirit. And also she has this necklace. I'm not sure what it is. It's hard to say if it's important or not. Something that fell from the sage's forest. So yeah, so it looks like they're both like ancient relics, like this necklace, that their climbing gear, and maybe the sage has already died. So it's hard to say. And then the cavalry members from Ririha's country find the dead steeds from the attack from the episode 1. So yeah. And then they kill the beast because it, you know, it's has served its purpose. And then we get an image of the roots. It shows kind of how deep the ocean goes, right? Like only like the tree branches are able to float on the snow sea along with the snow, but anything else will sink if they don't, you know, propel themselves through the ocean. Makes me wonder what that snow foil bag that they both carry is. Like, what's in it that allows them to float? That I wonder. Except that part. And then, because they notice a lot of bugs on the outside as they're going down, they decide to go inside the tree instead. And it looks like the tree is hollow. Because maybe they imagined that the tree was just like this like storage container of water. But in reality, it's very much empty, which is why there's less and less water to be taken from it. And he mentions, like, oh, and they see bugs everywhere. And she, in a way, like, he helps explain to her a perspective she didn't realize was that the bugs are part of the canopy or orbital trees. So in a way, they help sustain their environment. And because of it, they can't overhunt them. And then he was taught that humans and bugs have to coexist in the world, because otherwise they rely on each other for survival. So yeah. It looks like because they're using the artificial light inside the tree, that red-haired lady is using it as a guide to figure out where these two are. They're just constantly going down, down. And then because they're getting closer down, it's not as cold, so she took off her jacket. And then he sees the enemy people from the Valgia country. And she's trying to run away. And then the cavalry member are here, so they're trying to rescue her. So yeah, I don't know why they're constantly at odds, but that's just how it is, it looks like. And then in order to try to escape the Valgia people, they go on the floater, and then they use just real quick, they use those foil bags in order to be able to make sure that they survive even when they jump in the ocean. So yeah. So nothing too super crazy. Oh yeah, also one last thing. Sorry, I forgot this part. And he's like, why are, like, in his he's like wanting, like, people kill other people. It seems like kind of crazy to him because humans shouldn't fight and just talk to each other, right? And she's like, nope, that's not how they think here. So yeah, so also an important thing is it shows Kaina's upbringing of having lived a very peaceful life where having to rely on other people was more important than anything else. So killing other people for the sake of killing other people is very, very strange to him. But yeah, so you get just a little more world building, but not too much. I feel like they're kind of like drop feeding us more details, so we'll have to wait as we get more information. But yeah. Thanks for watching this if you did, and hope you enjoyed it. I'm interested in seeing whether we get more reveals of what the Sage is, how advanced the older civilization was, why it declined, and why the Snow Sea exists, because it's kind of reminiscent of the toxic jungle from Nausicaa, except this is the ocean, the other is the forest, right? But I wonder why it was created and why the civilization went on a decline. Just makes me think a little bit. But yeah, thank you so much and have a good rest of your day. Take care.